Now, I used to, when I used to be director of a clinic outside of DC, and we did this type of program when I left regular healthcare. And I was only weighing patients twice a month. And a fella came who's become a good friend of mine, Dr. Franklin Kobos. He was from Loma Linda Medical School. He just graduated from Loma Linda. He was doing emergency medicine at the time. And he came and he said, "Walt, why are you doing weights twice a week?" I said, "Well, that's what they've always done here." And that's not always the best answer. And he said, "But you can go 3 days and not weigh. And what if that person didn't have any weight loss during those days? And how do you know to jump on it?" He says, "Your patients are only here for 18 days. He says, "You need to be aggressive." I thought, well, that makes sense. Well, when I went to Duke University and I learned from Duke on how to do Dr. Kempner's program, guess what? They weighed patients every day. I remember one morning I was standing there and there's over 100 patients just standing in a line to see the doctor. And this lady comes up and he goes, "Oh, we'll call her Mrs. Brown. Mrs. Brown, let's see here. You haven't lost any weight in 3 days." He's looking at her chart. He goes, "You've been walking 5 miles a day. I want you to walk 10 miles today." We'll talk about some keys on losing weight, what happens to the fuel, the weight, the calorie burn, and what all. We'll get into that later. But what this doctor knew at Duke University was instead of 5 miles, she needed to walk 8 miles so that she could kick her body in to start losing some more weight. Well, you want to be aggressive, like Dr. Kobos says. And so by taking that weight every day, you don't miss 3 days or once a week and say, "Oh, I haven't lost anything." You want to be aggressive, just like when we fight fire. If once we get off that truck, guys know what they got to do, and you don't get off and say, "Well, let's say here, where's that hose?" Or let's say if we have a car wreck, and the guys get out and say, "Let's see, what compartment did you put Jaws' life in? Oh, give me the manual. I need to look at that manual first. Let's see, you got to do this to start it. You hook up with the hoses this way. Yeah, no, guys, we got someone in the car. They're dying in there possibly. We got to rip that car open, and the guys need to know what they're doing. Get off, be aggressive, get it done. If there's a house fire, we don't just get around, stand around. No, we pull that hose, we attack that fire aggressively, safely, but aggressively. Well, you want to be aggressive here. You want to, hello, Angie. You want to be able to be aggressive and address your health issues. We only got 31 days here. Let's be aggressive.